guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a grilled veggie panini. It's so delicious, totally adaptable to anything that you like. Let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You're going to need some fresh veggies, and I'm using zucchini, mushrooms, eggplant, I have some roasted bell peppers, fresh mozzarella, some basil pesto. You're going to need some good quality bread, some balsamic vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper. So, what this is exactly what I said. It's a grilled veggie panini. It's easy, it's delicious, and I absolutely adore it. And I make different versions of it all the time based on what I have on hand or what looks good that day. You know, for me, for today, I had some regular mushrooms on hand, so I just have those and I'm using those. But if I were to go to a store, I'll pick up some portobello mushrooms, yellow squash, asparagus, I mean, you name it. Feel free to use any kind of cheese you want, whatever you want. That's the beauty of cooking. Remember that, you're your own boss. So, to get started, you want to get a grill pan preheating over about medium-high heat. And while that preheats, I'm going to just drizzle my veggies here with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And now, for the roasted peppers, you can buy them in a jar at the supermarket, or you can make your own. And if you want to make your own, you can just check out my video for it. It's one of my very first episodes on how to make roasted bell peppers. I use that method all the time. But if you're buying the jar kind, or even if you're making them yourself, make sure when you roast them and peel them that you pat them dry with a piece of paper towel or two, because you want to absorb all that moisture. Otherwise, it'll make your bread soggy. No bueno. So, my grill pan's been preheating for a while, so now I'm just going to put my veggies on and let them cook for, depending, 3 to 4 minutes on each side, 2 to 3 minutes on each side. It depends on how thick your veggies are, how hot your grill is. So I'm just going to put these on here, let those cook. I'm going to flip them once they've gotten a good amount of color, whoops, and grill marks. And I'll add my mushrooms when they're done because I have no room for them. Now, I'm going to make this in my panini press because my hubby got me a panini press and I'm so excited to try it out and use it. And so I'm going to get that preheating while these cook. And when these are done, I'm going to remove them to a plate and put my mushrooms on and cook them exactly the same way for a few minutes on each side or until they have grill marks and they've cooked down enough. I just took my veggies off the grill. They grilled for a couple minutes on each side. I flipped them once and they're perfect. Now I'm going to season them with some salt and pepper because we didn't season them before they went on the grill. And I'm going to just put a splash of balsamic vinegar, just for a little extra flavor, but not a whole lot because I don't want to make the sandwich super soggy. Don't want that. So, I've got my grill, my grill, whatever that means. I have my panini press here preheating for me to use. Now I'm going to go on to the bread. I'm using a wonderful loaf of sourdough bread. And this happens to be the garlic rosemary sourdough. It's just beautiful. And I love sourdough bread. I have to tell you, it's something that, to be honest, I've started eating recently after my trip to San Francisco. I went to San Francisco a couple months ago. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that. And when I was there, it was like some of the best food I've ever eaten. It was really, really, really good food. And one of my favorite things was the sourdough bread, and fell in love with it, and I've been using a lot of it. So, and my slices of bread here, just going to put this out of the way. Okay, bring the bread closer to me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of basil pesto. You can make some yourself, and you can check out my recipe for it, or you can buy it at the supermarket. But if you buy it at the supermarket, make sure you buy the kind that's fresh in like the produce aisle. You don't want to buy the canned stuff that's been sitting on an aisle for who knows how long. I'm just going to take a little bit of it because it's very strong, and I'm going to spread it on just one side of the bread. That looks great. Next, I'm going to take just a few pieces of mozzarella, and this is going to be our bottom layer, and the mozzarella acts like glue. That's really what it does. So, I want to season the mozzarella a little bit because finding good quality mozzarella where I live is nearly impossible. So the stuff that I am able to get my hands on doesn't have that much flavor, so always season it just to bring out the flavor in the mozzarella. So now you're going to just layer on your veggies, and you can do this however you want, and you can cut them and rip them just to kind of fit the bread And I don't want these to be like super, super thick, but I do want them to be, you know, reasonably thick enough. I like a lot of veggies, but you can put whatever you want and as much as you want. Last of my mushrooms. And then some roasted bell pepper. Now, like I said, you can buy them at the store in a jar, or you can make them yourself. Either way, make sure you just pat them dry a little bit so that you get rid of a lot of the moisture that makes them a little bit too wet and soggy. It makes the bread soggy. And let's see, I can fit another little piece over here. Great, so now I'm going to top this with a couple more pieces of mozzarella, only because, like I said, this kind of acts like the glue that keeps the sandwich together. And you can cut it to fit, you can stretch it, you can do whatever your heart's desires. There we go. Whoops. Season the very top of your mozzarella. Lid goes on. Press it down a tad. And now I'm going to drizzle each side of the bread with a little bit of olive oil just to get it nicely browned. And then this is going to be the bottom side, so I can oil the top side once it's on here. And now one by one, whoops, if I can get this, I'm going to put this on my panini maker. Whoops. Yum. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of oil on this side. Put the lid on. I can't wait. Thank you, Joe Vitale, for my lovely panini press. Now, when that's done, I'm going to do the second one, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's there. Yum, delicious. That looks amazing. That's going on my personal cutting board. I was going to call this a plate, but I don't technically have a plate in front of me. But I got to cut into it just to show you what it looks like. I have my first one done and sitting there. Look at this. Yeah. Yes, please. You're delicious and you smell wonderful. I'm going to marry the sandwich. I'm going to just give it a second because it is really, really hot. And I love this panini press. It's amazing. But of course, if you don't have one, don't go out and rush and buy one. You can make this on your grill pan and just put something heavy on top of it just to kind of weigh it down so you can get that crispiness. And then just flip it. Or you can cook it however you cook your grilled cheese. You can do this however you want. You don't even have to toast the bread if you don't want to. But it is really good to do that. Delicious. It's so good. Super hearty. That sourdough bread that's infused with the rosemary and garlic is outrageously good, mixed with the pesto. This is a wonderful, wonderful sandwich. If you are a meat eater or if you're vegetarian and you don't mind eating cheese, this is a fantastic, fantastic recipe for you to try. And it makes for a great sandwich night. Have this, maybe a couple of bags of like some really fancy chips, like those blue corn tortillas, something fancy and cool, make it a weeknight to remember with your friends and family. That's it. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. I'm going to go finish eating my dinner. I'll see you next time. And to get this recipe and others, go to www.laurenkitchen.com. See you in the next one.